Hello and welcome to The Telescope. Every week we bring you a fresh insight from the biggest car market in the world. Today's car is the hugely anticipated ONVO L60. Many cars have been built as the Tesla killer or a Model Y rival. This one actually is. It's the same body style, slightly bigger, has more space in the back. No Model Y wannabes have actually beaten the Model Y on energy efficiency, and this is at least on par with the Model Y. Ergonomically, this is very similar to a Model Y, but with better fit and finish material and, crucially, a heads-up display. There's the speed information, the status of the assisted driving, and they managed to put navigation info, graphic navigation info, into the HUD. So really, you don't need to take your eyes off the road. Personally, I still prefer an instrument display, which works better under direct sunlight when following a white car, but yeah, at least it's got an HUD. Steering wheel is a slightly squared off rectangular shape, but because the round off is still, it's still a quite roundish steering wheel. When you are doing like U-turns, it doesn't bother me like some yoke steering wheels. One highlight, or one thing I value very much, is how much you can adjust this steering wheel. Watch this. Look how far it can stick out. I think just about anyone can find a good steering wheel position. And a good steering wheel position is 70% of ergonomic, for me anyway. Mirror provides enough visibility, but it's a slightly odd shape. You feel like it's maybe due to drag, it's on the smaller side, but you can see everything you need to see. It's just in a slightly unusual shape. Rear visibility is on the tighter side. I would like to see a digital rear view mirror on this car. The best way I can describe this interior is its premium economy. Normal materials fitted together quite well with just the right amount of enlightenment for you to not feel this is a bare bone interior. It really isn't. Leather here and microfiber materials here and just the right amount of metal finishes to enlighten this cabin. Equipment wise, this has a major advantage over the Model Y. This is a Chinese-made car. Of course, we're going to fit more standard equipment. You have heated and ventilation seat here on the front cabin as standard. Here on the front passenger seat, you have lower leg support. And believe it or not, this is also standard equipment on all trim levels. This has a huge rear cabin. At the front is my driving position. I'm 5'11", I'm sitting behind myself. Look how much room I have, both in the legroom and the headroom. But if I fully extend the front passenger seat's leg support for a 5'11" guy like me, I can still very comfortably sit behind myself, even when the front passenger is fully stretched out. This is a much more comfortable front and rear cabin than the Model Y. This car does not have a frunk, but it almost matches the Model Y in boot capacity, not just in this standard configuration, but also in underfloor storage. This is an international carry-on size suitcase, and I can fit this in completely underfloor with some leftovers, so this is a very practical boat. I need to catch an afternoon flight today, so I'm up in the morning really early on trying to get a feel for this car. So I was pushing really hard on this kind of country road and overtaking just about everyone. And the efficiency says I'm 14.0 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometer, or in Tesla's speak, it's 140 watts per kilometer. That really is Model Y level of efficiency, and we're sitting two passengers with the air conditioning setting at 22 degrees auto with today's temperature at roughly 34 degree ambient. It can do this mainly because it's got all the tricks from Model Y. It's got a slightly smaller frontal area, a slightly better drag coefficient, and it's also got the centralized thermal management system with heat pump. And it's also got some advantage. One is slightly narrower tires. This is on 245 section tires, 10 millimeters narrower than the Model Y. So slightly smaller contact patch. And this also have the 900 volt architecture. So with more voltage for the same amount of output, you cut the current by half and hence half the losses. If you really want to see an efficiency shootout between this and the Model Y on the same road, on the same day, leave your comments down below and we will try to make it happen. In terms of driving experience, this is a slightly more relaxed experience than the Model Y. The steering is slightly slower, but one thing I really value is that this does not have a dead zone in the center. You see, no matter how small of an adjustment, the car has a response. And when this car is in autopilot mode, it behaves very much like a Model Y. The steering suddenly becomes very locked in. It's really confident about where it's going. In normal driving, it's okay. It's of course not brimming with feel like the hydraulic steering rack on the McLarens, but it works. In terms of chassis performance and NVH and noise performance, this is very similar to the updated Model 3. It's much quieter and takes the bump in an easier way. But it also means this car is not quite as sharp as the Model Y. One thing that is slightly odd is the air conditioning system. We've been set this to 22 degrees auto, but the fan is always going quite hard. Even after half an hour, where I normally expect at that level, it's gonna quiet down. It's always going at a higher than normal fan speed, which could make this car louder because the fan is always going, but yeah, this is slightly odd. It wouldn't be a ONVO review without the battery swap. What you are seeing here is a Generation 4 battery swap station. It's a lot faster than the Gen 3 and the Gen 2 stations I've showed you previously. And this is the party trick for ONVO. In this Gen 4 station, it's going to finish a swap. It's telling you what it's about to do, because if you are experiencing this for the first time, it might be quite a nerve-wracking experience. So it tried to It tries to keep you informed, like what it is doing now, what it's about to do, to remove that slight factor of apprehension for the battery swap. When we finish this swap, you're going to see up on the screen how fast it's doing. Now NIO is slightly more proud of telling everyone how great battery swap is, so they actually put a screen on top of the station to tell you how long it's taken for this swap, which is supposed to be 2.5 minutes, but let's see. Now, you tell me how fast this swap has taken. For some reason, this review feels slightly anticlimax, maybe because I already know a lot about this car, and I'm here mainly today just to verify that efficiency claim and it deliver on the promise. It is at least as efficient as the Model Y, if not a tiny bit more efficient. Whether this can beat Model Y or not in sales figures, I actually don't know, because other cars like the Zeekr 007, the Xiaomi SU7 has proven just to produce a better product than the Model 3 does not mean you can beat Model 3 in sales figures. And that's mainly with the brand halo of Elon Musk. I completely understand why with every SpaceX vision, with every Falcon 9 takes off, every time a Starship takes off, people are going to think, wow, if he can produce a rocket that lands itself, or he can go to Mars, the car he produced must be really good as well. I hope more people can realize this. Tesla has been the industry leader, has been the benchmark for so many years, but now there is this. That is all from the Telescope today. If you enjoyed this video, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.